business solutions account. So their minimum for their business credit line is 30,000. So I'm going to apply for that pretty soon. So I'm just going to
Okay.
work on my CPA to provide all the correct documentation because there's enough, excuse me, transactions to show that the business is bringing in money and there's a demand for the
Oh,
product. So
awesome.
hopefully,
Yeah.
I'd rather get that first before I don't mind jumping into a loan because my CPA and I spoke and said that it's good to show banks that you can handle loans and pay them off responsibly to build those relationships for something bigger in the future. What I'm thinking about.
Yeah, with a line of credit, you don't have to take all 30,000. You could do 500 here, 1,000 here. I mean, if you have to do, if it makes you more comfortable, you could potentially do payments with your vendor, and say that I'm going to do, like 30, 60, 90, depends on the terms that they have with them. And then they might have an additional, like, 3.5% if you put it on a credit card. So you could weigh out the interest with a credit card, maybe something that you've got like 0% interest for 1 year versus this loan that maybe has terms. There's quite a bit of options and flexibility for small business too. I mean, you could look into the SBA with small business lending as well, and they're much more flexible. Well. Yeah.
I just want to reach out to you about that because I wasn't expecting to do it that fast. So but I'm grateful. Like I like my CPA is an AT, so he told me at this point just be grateful it's good to be this type of stress where you're really busy.
Right. Yeah, that's what everybody always says. Until you can't fulfill orders.
It's a lot though.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's insane.
Yeah.
All right. So I was having issues with the live stream, but I think it started. So it may have started just a minute ago or so.
It has popped on. Well, hey everybody in the live stream.
I'm not sure. Like I said, it was acting a little funny today, but as far as the audio recording, I'll go through and edit out this first little part, but we'll go from there. So
no problem.
You guys ready?
Rock and roll. I mean, as ready as I'll ever be. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Sports Medicine Broadcast, a podcast to promote and improve your practice as an athletic trainer. This is the first one back. It's been a break. I didn't do anything over the summer podcast related, and it was pretty nice. It was nice to take that time off. And we're going to start right back with AT Inventors. So we've got a couple of athletic trainers who have invented products. They're at various stages of their creating the product, the business, various levels of experience. And then in the end, after we finish the series, we're going to want to come back later in the year, maybe around March, and hear your stories of what you want to invent or what you have or your experience. So again, just personally, I've tried twice to kind of start a business. I never really wanted to. People told me, yeah, you need to, you should. And I didn't want to, so I tried it, and it didn't fit me. It wasn't me. But that's not everybody. Everybody's got a different, drive or something that really fits for them. For me, my mission or my passion is to take care of my family, and all those other things, it kind of took away from that and added more stress. And so for me, it wasn't working, but your story isn't mine. So I've got Jay Ostia from Nexus Sports Medicine. He's created the Dead Bug. And then Alicia Sai from SI Boards, and they're going to talk about their experience and everything in creating a sports medicine, athletic training related product. So without much further ado, Jay, why don't you give us a real quick intro, and then we'll go to Alicia.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Jay Ostia. I'm over in the Tampa Bay area, specifically Riverview, Florida. So I'm the owner of Nexus Sports Medicine, but during my standard AT hours, I'm actually the athletic trainer at a brand new high school in the area. So from the morning until afternoon, I run Nexus, and then 2 p.m. until whatever home games are done, I am doing I'm like you, just a regular athletic trainer at high school as well. So I'm in the field, I'm in the turf. I know exactly what's going on. I'm here to try to make everything a little better. And, sorry, Alicia.
Oh, well, I was going off the show notes. Jay, how long have you been in the profession?
That. Yeah, so 4 years. This is my fourth year going into it. Still a lot to learn. Definitely not perfect. Off the script. And then something else I want to mention, I did a little bit of time in the Marines as well. So a lot of things that, you as the customer base, the AT community will see from me comes from my background in the Marine Corps and also my art background. Before all this, I was actually an art major. So AT really wasn't the first thing I picked up. And if anyone who knows me personally, I'm all about design. I can go into a paint store and look at colors all day, kind of figure out what goes good at that. And, that's really my thing. So that you'll see a bunch of military style art design and a little bit of culture into everything you see at Nexus. That's kind of based to that. Alicia?
Awesome. I'm Alicia Sai. I'm the owner and creator of Cyborg's Balance Training Systems. We make, initially started out as the most multi-direction balance training system, most advanced in the market. And then it's blossomed into the most progressive and versatile, being that you can create 18 different training systems with one by changing out the balls, the half balls, resistance bands. We even have a strap system for the BOSU. And then that's blossomed into unbreakable solid urethane medicine balls because there wasn't anything on the market, so we had to make our own. So they triple as tissue release balls. Imagine like lacrosse balls in various sizes, and then high rebound medicine balls. And then I always loved power rope balls, the medicine balls on the end of a rope. So I was like, well, let's give that a shot. So I put our balls on the end of the rope, and so you can swing them around and feel like, a medieval warrior. So that's my product line. I'm an athletic trainer since 1999. So I think we're going on 22 years here. And I've done high school, collegiate. I still fill in at a college, Soka University once in a while. I sort of the pop in, pop out athletic trainer when they need me. For many years, I traveled with the U.S. Soccer Federation with the national youth teams, and really heavily where, I was just gone all the time. That they become your secondary family, and you're having, holidays with them. So after the World Cup cycle, we won the World Cup in Japan in 2012 with the U20 women's national team. I came back and I was figuring out, what do I want to do? Keep traveling, go back to traditional athletic training, or start my own shop or program, or go back into Cyborgs, because I'd put Cyborgs on hold for a bit. And my brother was like, you can do all three, but they'd be mediocre. So pick one and make it awesome. So I decided to go back into Cyborgs, turn it back on. I already had all the tooling and the patent and on. And so I've been back 100% full time with this since 2014, when I decided to turn it back on after a little bit of just here and there. And then secondly, my vision for everything over the years is to really create my sports medicine background with my high performance training and product line, but there is a gap in the middle there. How do we take you from an acute injury to high performance? And that's our new program called My Steady State, where we're really optimizing your athletic performance based on key pillars of health, such as your hormone cycle, your menstrual cycle, digestion, toxin elimination, how well you're assimilating nutrients when you eat, the gut-brain axis, HPA axis, your cortisol response, sleep hygiene, travel hygiene. It's all in there on how we can combine your lifestyle with your athletic performance and really rock both. So we're changing the game of sports medicine and how we treat our athletes with menstrual cycles. Boom, done. That's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
All right. So I didn't mention at the very beginning, like I said, this is the first one back. A little bit rusty. All right. So this is AT Inventors 1. This is sportsmedicinebroadcast.com/AT Inventors 1. So that way you can find links or ways to connect with everybody, or some of the show notes from what we've talked about. Because like I said, this is designed to be a 3-part series. It could be a little bit more depending on how things go. But then in the end, or later in the year, we're going to want you to come on and share your story, or to get your questions answered. Alicia's been answering questions in the Gather forum, and she's been kind of working on like a little mentor type platform or whatever it is to streamline that as well, because she's been asked a lot of questions. And even if you're on the live stream at the beginning, you caught some of the questions that Jay was asking Alicia. Hey, this is what I'm working on. What are your thoughts? And then just right there having that conversation. So again, check out sportsmedicinebroadcast.com/AT Inventors 1, because this is the first one in the series. So the next one will be AT Inventors 2 and then 3. And then if we continue on, the numbers will continue. All right, so we've heard some of your background, where you came from, things like that. So today we wanted to focus on the design and the research of your product. Jay, why don't you start us off? These are your questions, so why don't you have this conversation with Alicia, and I'll jump in as I see fit.
Sure. All right. I'll ask you, Alicia, what was, I guess, with your designing your first product, what was the first thing that you wanted to address?
Well, I had the idea in 2001. I was working the standard, opening up the PT clinic in the morning, and then going to the high school where there's zero budget and your friends are cockroaches coming out of the hole in the wall, right? Those cockroaches were so bold, they wouldn't even scatter when you come in at 11 o'clock after football. They'd just be hanging out by the air purifier like, hey, what's happening? Welcome to Southern California. But we had zero budget, and we had some awesome balance boards. We had a Voodoo balance board and an Extreme balance board at the PT clinic. I was like, I got to have this for the high school. I've always loved products. I've been the athletic trainer student where I would take the manual and read through it and then do every skill that was in the manual, and just really love product design and how far you can push it. So I was like, I need one of these, and there's zero budget. So I had to be creative, as all athletic trainers are. You're like inventing all kinds of crazy stuff, all of you athletic trainers. It's like ingrained in us. So I took an old ragged softball and one of those igloo cooler lids, the teeny tiny ones. The cooler was gone. Who knows where it had gone, but this is just random stuff. Put them together. It was multi-directional. It was really tiny. The athletes didn't like it. I loved it. I was like, boom, there you go. So then I went to grad school. I already had it planned out that I was going to grad school that year. So I put it on hold. I came back, and after 2 years in grad school, my dad said, hey, are you still interested in developing your idea? Here's a book on patent and trademarks. Take a look. Okay. So from there, I was like, let me see what's happening in the market. And at that time, Indoboard was coming into sports medicine. You'd see Indoboard in the Perform Better catalog, I believe. And so it was great timing. And then I started researching in the patent database. And it just opened up this wealth of like all of these super cool inventions, even things like the what's that coffee sleeve? It's cardboard that you put like on your Starbucks. Like even that has like multiple patents, right?
I'm not surprised to hear that. It's multiple patents.
Patent anything, right? So it really opened up this world of like, whoa, these are really cool things, and let's go for it. So I said, Dad,
so you used the patents to help you design your product too, like the information you saw from other products within patents.
Yeah, I used it more to learn how to write my patent and to see the language and the pacing and the notes. But in design, my youngest brother is an electronics engineer. My middle brother is a wood shop instructor. My older brother is a computer guy. So we're all handy. But this was back in 2004, 2002. I'm not really sure. It was like 2000. I can't remember when I graduated from grad school. But so I started design in 2004, and we just several iterations that didn't work, like an air-filled basketball on this huge round board with a rim, and that was the first iteration. It was terrible. It was just too big. The dimensions were off. Then my brothers and I were going to local skate shops, and they have a bin of your your used decks. So we got some of those for $5. Went to Home Depot, tried to put a rail system on there by using lawn irrigation piping and piecing that all together. And eventually it just grew from figuring out the right dimensions to a wood board, somehow creating some sort of rail system. And then my brothers would be at garage sales looking for bowling balls to ride. And I have a humongous bin of all types of balls, from research and design, from sizes and densities and things that work and things that don't work. So it was, the ball was the most challenging thing to figure out how to get there. And then once we had something that was pretty doable, that's when I sought out more technical design engineering with an engineer and a prototyping company. And that was great, but also a turn in sort of the wrong direction. So going back to the basics. Yeah. There's a lot of U-turns. So yeah,
I guess we'll get to that later then.
Yeah. Okay. How about you?
Oh, so design for me. So where kind of my idea started out with, not even the dead bug, but just a new style of sling, was that, so I first came into the profession straight out of grad school, as a GA at a local high school, actually here in Tampa. And the first sling I had, not going to name, what the brand was, it fell apart so fast. And then I figured, okay, I've, from my time in the Marines, let me just look up a tactical company that is pretty well known. Let me try that. I tried 2 or 3 of them, and I saw that, the quality is fine, which what I expected. But the issue was that it still wasn't 100% suited to us. And then I remember just like over my time as a GA, just doing research of dozens of different bags, trying to figure out exactly what's going to work for me. And I had arguments about, okay, I'm going to get this one bag just to cover games. I'm going to have another bag to do this. And that's just, I'm thinking this is too much.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of figured out, I've been drawing for most of my life. Why not just do it myself? Because I've been around all the military materials. So I pretty much understand most of everything that, I guess, material wise, what I could put into it. The issue, as we were just talking about, was dimensions. Dimensions was the trickiest part, because when going into design, I can't always think about it where what works for me isn't going to always work exactly for everyone else. So that tricky part of coming up with a design for the dead bug itself was just how do I put myself into the shoes of thousands of ATs around the world. That's the most difficult part, because I know for a fact, not, for all the customers that bought the dead bug, they're not going to find that, it's exactly perfect to them, but I tried to at least solve the goal that it was going to suit, for the general aspect, most people. I think that's still a tough design challenge for anyone to try to suit, design a product that suits everyone. So, and then also the challenge of the dead bug was, how do I make this design also suitable for people from other professions, EMS, fire, someone who just is a tactical enthusiast, someone just likes to go bag for your everyday carry. Those were the implementations I was trying to figure out. Will this work? And the good thing about, the dead bug is that I can change it as I go along, and I'm all about making changes as needed. But that was a very, very tricky part, just trying to put myself in the shoes of everyone else, because you could definitely get, I guess a little bit of tunnel vision, going into your vision, but you still have to think about your customer base as well.
Right.
So, yeah. But I'll say that's what pretty much went to the dead bug.
Yeah, I mean, the overall theme is that we see a need for something in the market to improve upon the current designs, to expand what's out there. And then secondly, for our own purposes, like, I need this, I don't see it, so I'm gonna develop it. That was definitely for me. I kept breaking equipment, and with that, I was like, I really don't want to produce something that I'm going to have to manage with returns and unhappy customers. I'd rather just, for me, my core values is to just make something that's the best quality, that's going to last forever, and then everybody's happy, and I don't have to go backwards. I can just continue to build my business forward. But yeah, taking what's out there, expanding upon it, and making it better. But yeah, for sure, the universal product that's going to fit everybody is really difficult. Yeah, it's really challenging. Where sometimes, like, backpack kits are giant, and I'm only 5'4". Those versus somebody who's 6'4", who's like in
Yeah.
this teeny tiny little backpack, right? Yeah. So a couple of size options or adjustments that you can make where you can add on things if you need to because you need more space, or you're just working with much larger athletes, you know. But yeah, that is hard. And then as you're saying, with having such a narrow focus, it's really great to have a narrow focus because then you're not distracted by let's add this and that and this and that, and then all of a sudden it's so broad and you have no idea what you're doing with your business. You know,
and I had that too. I just to branch off to that, I was I think I found myself in design phase where I was on the right path, and also moments where, oh man, I'm just going way too many different directions. But it's still the mindset of just trying to figure out, can I make it happen? And that's where, you know, the biggest thing I wanted to make with the Dead Bug was, you know, all out modular kit. So I know the AT community, you won't see as many people do it. So that I think that's something I'm trying to help promote, is that with the Dead Bug, you can scale it up or scale it down. So I think that's going to take more time on my end to do advertising. But that was the biggest thing too, is just, you know, modularity is a whole different thing that some people don't really care about, but I know other people can just find a whole different rabbit hole to go nuts with. As you said about putting things, adding on, taking off. But design is, well, like you said, I love design too. I never, as an artist, it's weird to think about something in an artistic way and then from a design aspect, it's completely different. And I'll from my end of just think of thought process, that was the most difficult part in the beginning, because at first I was thinking, all right, how do I make the Dead Bug look so cool? And then I noticed, no, this is actually it's not gonna hit the other goals I have in the spectrum as well. But
are you talking about specific things like thread color, or you want piping a certain place, or just functional or cosmetic?
More just the overall shape in the bag, where stitching is in place, you know, putting things in a certain aspect. Thread color is not a big, you know, the thread color, stitching color, fabric color, that's not too big. It was literally just how, you know, design wise, the composition of the bag itself, where everything is placed. Again, almost got lost into that situation, but then I really noticed sometimes simplicity is better, less is more. Yeah.
Well, that's the inventor mind. Like you just like, oh, this is so cool. And then trying to find, you're like, I gotta try this. And you have to try it. You have to try and quote unquote fail, but it's part of the design process, because then you're like, yeah, that for sure, that zipper is not gonna work, right? Or this bolt is not gonna work. Yeah. It's just definitely the inventor mind and the excitement. Like when you're all over the place, I don't know, you've done your morning meditation, you've done your gratitude, and you're so open to whatever's going to come in. It's just great when you're happy doing something. It's great. Yeah.
I'll definitely say that, you know, throughout the day, even when I'm at work, at home, I'm always constantly thinking about different product ideas, different modifications to the Dead Bug, and I'll just mention it, and my wife will just say to me, "Man, you're not thinking about this too much." But it's mentally, you know, it's mentally stimulating.
Yeah.
Just to be able, just to do it. It's like you said, it's fun, but it also can get a bit overwhelming. Because I remember, you know, shout out to Alicia Pennington. I saw an Instagram post by her, you know, saying some business-minded people thinking about business ideas at night. Boom, they wake up, and that happens to me a lot. But again, I'm not gonna disrupt my wife. Go into my studio here and just start blasting drawings out. But it's like that for me. For anyone who's watching, it's really like that. Just constantly things running through my head. Yeah.
You have that energy. That's where you take you have the little pad of paper and you take it out of your pocket. You write notes. Go back to bed. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see where are we on next on this. I'll see this.
You mentioned you had basically a team to design with. You had a brother that was a woodshop director, a brother that was a metal artist, and another that was an engineer, and then your dad was helping you as well. How much does that play into your story?
Well, along the way, I've had the support of my friends and family, and that was one of the most important things to have. Aside from your own personal ambition and drive, having a very supportive environment is really key. Nobody put me down. It was like, you're crazy. This is never going to work, nothing. So that was really key because I do like, I still currently do about 50% of the manufacturing myself. I love working with my hands, but I go to the experts. My rail guys, the steel rail guys, they are experts in tube bending and welding and blending that in. So I let those experts manage that. My urethane guys, like I don't want to learn urethane, right? It's a whole thing. I don't want to learn how to do it. Other things, so I let the experts do what they do because they're working with those materials day in and day out. There's other things where I have the expertise in and I finish that. But yeah, if you don't have the support of your friends and family and the closest people to you, it's much more challenging to continue to move forward. And people think I'm a little crazy. My brother Brad, who's a tech guy, he's like, your personal story on your website is way too long. Why does it need to be several pages?
Just
I read and I was like, you know what? This is called breaking the rules. This is my life. I'm gonna do my core values. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I understand where he's coming from, where people just want like the short version. But I have a lot of people who sit and read the whole thing and email me, and that really inspires me because it's inspired them and inspires me to continue to go on. So it's vitally important. At the same time, they know that my life surrounds this, where I'm always thinking about it, or sometimes, especially during holiday season, I have to miss, family, a couple of family things here and there because I've got to ship out orders, and they understand. Yet at the same time, because I've built my business the way I've wanted to, I'm living this like awesome life where if I need to, I can stop what I'm doing and go help my dad with something. My dad was in the hospital recently, so I stopped everything and I went and I did it. It's much harder to do if you're in a traditional setting. So yeah, there's give and takes with everything, but definitely important in having expertise and support. Yeah. What about you, Jay? I know you have a family and work and all that. How are you feeling with sort of burning the candle at both ends right now while you're in development?
Yeah, I would say initially going into this, like a lot of people, even as Jeremy mentioned, like I really didn't know am I meant to open up a business? Am I truly business minded? I think over the past couple months, I realized I am because of the drive. But as far as going for support, you do need your closest people around you to support, your friends, all stuff, because like, Lisa, if there's going to be some days it just drains you. You're going to have one bad day where something happens, you get news about this, you're thinking, damn, it could just completely mess something up. And I would say just running a business itself, beginning stages or later stages, just like the stock market. Sometimes it's going up for a while. You have a big down, a big dip, up and down. And then like you said, with the experts, yes, you can't always do everything yourself. You need the right people to help you do certain aspects. Like you're talking about, an expert in urethane, a product I'm trying to develop deals with metals and plastics. I don't want to go through all that. It is tedious. I understand nylon's pretty good, some stitchings, certain materials like that. But when we were talking about metals, plastics, Kydex, Boltaron, that's you ask questions to the right people, and that's the coolest thing about having the internet is that you can just reach out to anyone, about this little thing and get information done. But going back to support, it's a huge thing you need. I would say probably who's really been integral in this is everyone from the USF and the Temple University community, and also the Marine Corps community. It's just been big for me because as someone who's those are my alma maters, just seeing that support behind me, and it shows that there's a lot of goodness in the AT world. Because I think all three of us, Jeremy, can talk about negative Nancy's or people that just constantly, are just, Debbie Downers. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to happen in some aspect. And I know for me going into the future, and even now, a couple, negativity in certain emails about, me trying to get bags out, but I'm just a one man show, just trying to work everything out. So the support is there because you're gonna have those days where it's not going well. So
yeah, I will say if you have negativity around you, really consider how to block that energy from you. And a lot of times it's their own issue. Like they have a thought that they wanted to do something with their life and they didn't do it, and they're just transferring it onto you. So it goes in one ear out the other ear, because really, to be frank about it, like, I don't care what you think of me. I am strong within my own core values and where I'm going, and your opinion of me doesn't make my self-worth, right? That drive is within me. So when you are around that, it's really important to find a way to distance yourself from it, to not let it affect you. People love to give their opinions, right? Everybody's always asking me, when am I going on Shark Tank? And you got to do this and you got to do that. And I'm like, and you have to just find a way to politely say, oh, wow, yeah, thank you for that. I will keep that in the back of my mind. And then I just, keep walking my dog.
I like how you do that, because I think about the same thing. Everyone's like, yeah, go on Shark Tank, get investors. And I really need to start saying it that way, because I'm always, what I usually tell people is like, it's just not going to work, and I don't need that type of investor. And I like the way you approach that, very quick, and you can put everything to the side.
Yeah, you don't have time. No, first of all, no athletic trainer has free time, right? And that's sort of a commentary on the profession as a whole. But you don't have time. Like, you're too busy over here going, oh my God, I love the idea of this stitching and this clip and on, and I gotta go get it. And I gotta go find 3 different vendors to see which one's the best one. And then I gotta email them and get the samples in and put them on. And then I've got 15 different versions of this and find the right one.
I think you can just do it, you could just do it, immediately yourself. But as you know, we're all, our thought process is focused on very specific things. And if something is not on the horizon for us or is a necessity, there's no point into pursuing it.
Right. So. Right. When those times do happen, when you were talking about the success going up and down, and most people are like, you sold something, your income is just like skyrocketing, just straight uphill.
No, because they don't understand. Oh my God, just expenses in general, marketing expenses. For people that are seeing me build, I guess, do an Instagram series of how to build out the exterior of a dead bug. No, I have to pay for a lot of things to market it too, or this R&D for new samples. Those costs moolah. I'm throwing in money to get new colors for the dead bugs and try to introduce it. It's not because I'm selling. We're just going like this. Right.
Yeah. So as an inventor, you have to know that the success comes with the little bit of the downhill, but those are really important times, because at least like that version is not going to work, and that just comes. And being resilient and be able to keep climbing up that hill is one of the best things you can do. Just keep at it. Wake up, keep at it, and know that look, if you need some encouragement, look at all of the things you've already done. This is part of the process, is to figure out what doesn't work, keep refining, and going forward.
And as I mentioned,
go ahead, Jeremy.
In the beginning, like, I'd started a business twice, whatever, and it just didn't work out for me. But essentially, this right here, this podcast, is my product, because I'm pretty sure I was like one of the first athletic trainers to have one, and it's been the longest one. Even though I'm not like selling it, making money, it's used here at the school to help build up the program, that kind of thing. But it's still something that I created that helps other athletic trainers. And so it doesn't have to be that exact way to where I'm going to start a business and I'm going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to create a product. There's still there's other options if that's what you really want to do. If you really have a desire to help other people. I just forget that sometimes, that since I'm not having my own side hustle, my own second business, that that I'm not helping or creating. But this content here helps other athletic trainers as well. So
I 100% agree, man. Just to touch on that, there's, plenty of people out there doing their own podcasts or doing their own whatever series on something. It's about, if you find something that really gives you a lot of ambition, drive, it doesn't necessarily always have to make money. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation where, somehow brings you income, but it's about, how much do you really care about it? And like you said, like if you, what you're showing into this, yeah, absolutely, man. It's working for you. I like it. Not everyone has to build a business at all, or not everyone is business minded to go through those struggles. You just have to find what suits you. Exactly.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. So that goes into Jeremy. Are you happy doing your podcast? Like the fulfillment, what have you gained out of it? It's been like, you wake up and you're like, yes, we're going to do a podcast today. Like, what is that feeling for you?
Well, to be honest, like over this summer, I've kind of just been going back and forth. Is this going to be the last year that I do this, or am I going to continue it? And I've talked with my coworker here, with my wife, many times. Like, I'm a better person. I'm a better athletic trainer because I do this. And we all go to sports medicine conferences, and we sit and play on our phone or tweet, or maybe we're paying attention, but these regular conversations where I get to interact, I get to ask my questions, I get to have personal, like, I want to talk about this topic, or I want to hear about this topic. It makes me better. And so for the selfish reason of, I don't want to stall out, I don't want to be flat, I'm pretty sure I'll continue the podcast. It may change format, it may be less often, I'm not sure. It may continue just the same, after I get the wheel started this year, since we're just coming off of the 2 COVID years and everything was crazy, that, once I kind of get things back to normal, it goes, starts getting better, that kind of thing. But I truly enjoy the process of learning. And like I said, I am better for doing it and for being part of it. And then all the people that I get to meet, neither of you I would have interacted with probably if it wasn't for the podcast. And here we are going to do a whole series that's going to help lots of other people.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the drive and ambition you have to put yourself out there, it's really, it takes a lot of vulnerability to put yourself into what you're creating, whether it's a product or a program or a podcast, and you're opening yourself up to other people saying amazing things about you, and then the small portion of haters that just, I don't know, the poor people are unhappy, right? So it is very vulnerable to do that, and it sounds like you have found the joy in going through that and making this your own, because you can create it, and you can, this is your own creation. And when it fulfills you, it fulfills everybody else. So you're totally right. You can't be good for anybody else unless you first take care of yourself. And I think within the profession, I mean, it's a huge service to have all of these other interviews that you've done, and avenues of everybody else doing what they're doing in the profession, and then pushing us to be better providers for the athletes and whoever comes upon us. So for sure, props to Jeremy, because yeah, you're another vision of pursuing on a continual basis with your podcast. Like, turn on the mic, let's go. Yeah. So for sure. But yeah, happy for you.
Thanks. I know one of the questions you guys had in here is, how does your product add value or makes your design different? And I know, Alicia, you talked about, you don't want a customer service nightmare. You don't want anybody to send it back saying it broke or this doesn't meet my expectation. So talk a little bit more about the adding value to our, you know, current level, and then what makes the design different?
Yeah, so in creating a product that's not going to break, you have to use the best materials. Just is. And if you want to use the best materials, you got to put some money behind it. Just is, right? And then you have to have the best people who are conscientious about what they're manufacturing for you, to put all the parts together. You know, I have my vendors are all close here in Orange County, California, or just right out LA. And they're the same vendors that I've had since early on in research and development. And I have a very, very close relationship with them. I mean, my board guy, he calls me princess. I'm like his daughter, right? And that really adds to, they put as much care into what they're doing as I'm going to put into the middle and final stage processes. So for me, that's really important. And when you have a product that you can stand behind, you use it yourself and you're proud of it, then that's going to drive you to make a better product. So yeah, just in my core values and thinking what it's like for me to have a broken product and then go through the whole warranty process. You got to call them, you're on hold forever, you got to fill out this form, you got to mail it in, and then time is money, really. I couldn't take that. And the second thing is exceptional customer service. And it takes me a long time to get through emails because I'm writing a lot. I'm actually having I'm really having a hard time with email overload right now.
That's hard.
Yeah. So, and there are some companies and designers where they're fine with having a product that has a lot of turnover because it's a one and done. You're going to buy it, you're going to break it, it's fine. You're going to buy something else to replace it. There are some companies like that, and that's fine. That's the way they want to do it. For me, that just, wasn't an option. I would rather value your time and energy. So my product line really had to be versatile. I had to have it where I could just travel with one board with the US soccer team, a couple balls and half balls, and create something that's going to work from, basic rocker board all the way to multi-direction board. So I wanted interchangeable pieces, which helped. So all the balls are urethane and there's just different sizes. So I'm focusing on urethane and not multiple different types of materials to play with. But the issue that I come into is one board's not going to be versatile enough for somebody who's a small cross-country runner versus your 7-foot basketball player. So I needed different sizes of boards to fit that, sticking with the same ratios and configurations and type. And then this was early on in 2007 when the economy was just going downhill. We first started out with the high-end version. Then we needed an economy version. So we took those boards, made a different type of rail system. So we have a high-end, an economy version, and then we needed a do-it-yourself kit. So there's really 3 different levels or tiers that you can choose from for your product line based on your budget, how creative you want to be. If you're a growing kid, you need a different rail. And that adds to the versatility of what you're offering. So that was really helpful with, as the economy has changed, to offer those versions, and to just say, with my board, you can do 18 different things. With this board, maybe because the pivot point is stuck on there, you're more limited to the size, or it's permanent. And there's benefits to everything. There's great. Sometimes that's all you need, and that's all that your client needs. But when you're offering options, it's great within the marketplace as a whole to have options. So yeah, that's That's good. What about you, Jay?
Wow, very expansive answer. Okay. It's good. So as far as I'll start out with adding value. So with the, the dead bug itself, what I really wanted to do was kind of make a bag to where it wasn't, I never, like Alicia said, there's your levels of options. So something, being your high end, the Cadillac of this consumer base, your mid tier and your low grade. I tried to find with the dead bug something that's between the Cadillac and the mid tier. Because I just, from what I've, my opinion for what I've seen in the current marketplace of just AT, I guess, personal carry kits itself, is that it's not even mid tier. This is just me speaking. So I wanted to show that, hey, this is something that you can get as someone who's entering, because it's gonna last you, and it's gonna be something that, like Alicia said, it's extremely versatile. With the dead bug, what you get is a kit that you can, again, scale up, scale down to where you want to use it for sideline use. But if you're a secondary school AT, if you're over at, the soccer fields and you have something that happens in baseball, you can just bring the dead bug. You don't have to haul your 30-pound kit, especially if you don't have a golf cart. I don't know how many ATs have that luxury. I work in Tampa. For those of you who are listening in Tampa, you know that our financial struggles is a massive county of, over 27 high schools. It's a problem. We don't have the funds to do all that. So I just strap my dead bug on if I have to go to another field. Not a big issue. And that's an issue I'm trying to solve. Now, I mean, the pricing of the dead bug versus other slings in the market, yeah, it's more expensive. And because there's a value to it. I'm very confident saying that if someone finds a sling bag designed for ATs that does more than dead bug, let me know, because I can make it better, because it's again about solving those issues of maximizing internal organization. I saw if a lot of current designs, it just still wasn't enough. I really wanted to go crazy on the inside, kind of like a car. The exterior is one thing, but we go in the inside, that's where, really hits the magic. And that's where I'm really trying to add value, is not just innovation, because everyone keeps talking about innovation this stage. It's also evolution for me to be able to change it. And that's the value I'm bringing as a small company, to where, all right, cool, this iteration of dead bugs had a couple of comments, from very consistent comments, I can change it up. So, and at least you said of options, I'm planning, I already had designed a light sling model, something a bit smaller, and a fanny pack too, and modular pouches to fit all those different product lines. So it's about versatility. And like you said, Alicia, with materials, I picked Cordura fabric just because, my stuff is made overseas, and I taught the manufacturers in the US, and price point, I can't justify charging the US price to our market, with how athletic trainers and how our pay is. And I want to get there at some point. I think the military market would support that US price, but not ATs. But with the Cordura fabric, I made sure I taught my suppliers, hey, I need your certification from the mill where you get the fabric. They did that because Cordura, from what I understand, I could be wrong, Cordura that you get that's over in, I don't know where all the factories are in the world, but from America, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, if they've Cordura mills in, Mexico, it still has all the same broad base of how it's made. There's no discrepancies in the Cordura at all. The only change is maybe 5% off of the color shade because of how it's dyed, but you're still getting Cordura made in one country is Cordura that's made in the other country. And it's known for having good effectiveness in the field. And that was the reason why I picked that material. So I want to pick, you can upgrade the Cordura, which is what I'm looking for in the future, but it's just not there within my realm yet. And also with my current suppliers. So I'm going to have to, do some shopping, try to figure out how do I make those slight changes and variations.
Yeah. Research and design. It all goes back to having,
it does,
back when I started, right, this is 2004, 2005. We actually first started, we had a product, it was 3 years in development, with material, working at a high school at the same time of building my business and figuring this out, and tooling and molds and yada, yada, yada. But back then the internet was not all that it is. There was no social media. I was going through the yellow pages. I don't even know if they make the yellow pages anymore. And I was calling people, at that time too, nobody had like a really like fancy website, right? So I'm calling and I'm like, hey, can we try to make a solid urethane ball? And they're like, you're crazy, no way. Next number, hey, can we try to make a solid? You're crazy, no way. And you just keep going. You just keep going down the line. And when somebody says no to you, it's an opportunity. They're really saving you from a work relationship or a material that's just not going to work. So take it as a gift from the universe that it's part of the process, that they're saving you from something to get you into greatness. Yeah. My urethane guys, finally, when I found him, he's like, well, I don't know, but let's try. And awesome. It was a lot of tries. Yeah. Yeah. So in for inventors, how do you procure materials? Like, where do you go? Right. The internet's really great with pictures and ideas and things. Sometimes I will say that sometimes the people that manufacture things, because they've been doing it for a really long time, their website isn't always up to speed with the new fancy website. So you're looking at, like beta version, right? But I remember just wandering up and down the Home Depot aisles, just looking at everything and going to specialty hardware stores where they have more bolts and nuts and fasteners and everything that you can dream of, and just touching everything and like, is this going to work? I don't know. Yeah. If you don't have to reinvent the buckle and you can find it, then that's great. But if you're interested in taking your idea and your product, like, go wander around, even in weird stores that you don't even think, like go to a plumbing store and see what they have and the way, mechanically things work. Mcmaster Carr is a really great company that has everything. Their website has been updated, but you can go on and see drawings of nuts and bolts and stuff, and learn about all these different versions of the nut and bolt. I mean, it's crazy how many there are. So yeah, if you can just even in the oddest places, you continually find those weird items that may work for your product. And then you just gotta like hit the ground and keep emailing and calling and asking for samples and seeing what you can do with it, putting it together, piecing it together. At least from my end, for some people, they just want a design firm to take it all over, which can work for some people. Yeah.
I'll expand on that. With a design firm, it can get I don't want to say super shady, but definitely it gets expensive when you go down to a design term. We can start this tidbit on talking directly to a manufacturer versus a trading company versus a design firm. But I've always read about design firms, because for the first product I designed before the dead bug, I was struggling. Like you said, I was talking to so many suppliers. Can you do this in a custom version? No, you're out of your mind later. It happened like 15 times, and it was frustrating. And I looked at a design firm and I read comments, reviews, $10,000, $15,000 to hold the design. I'm thinking, this is nuts, before we even get a sample. So that's where, you can get into, for everyone's listening, directly talking to a manufacturer. Like you said, Alicia, their websites look like they're back from 2000. It's amazing how, I don't know. I've seen, like, with so many manufacturers, and for those of you who are listening, most places, most big companies don't manufacture in-house. And I'm pretty sure Alicia can say the same. You're an exception, obviously, but the hardest part is getting to the manufacturer. So you could, for example, if you like how Nike makes this style shirt, guess what? It's going to be difficult trying to find the manufacturer that can make that style shirt. And you have to go down that rabbit hole of looking up that specific material using your search engine optimization. Okay, how do I find this type of material, this type of threading? And you have to go deep into research. But it's available with what we have now in the internet. It's definitely possible. Because when when you're talking to a manufacturer, you have that ability to kind of figure out, can they do everything the way they want you to? And if it doesn't, you can still keep trying to find more and more people. And sometimes it just takes so much trial and error to find the right person to do it for you.
Mhm.
Do you have any comments? I don't want to continue on. Do you have any comments on trading companies or design firms, Lucia?
Yeah, initially
Or
yeah,
even
kind
a
of,
manufacturer itself?
yeah, kind of went down a rabbit hole where with a design firm, and that was a lot of money, that to prove that it didn't work. So, the design firms are there to help you, give you ideas and push your product forward. So it's there. I would say that if you're like in the very first stages of your product, try not to go with a design firm because you haven't proven out what's working and what's not working. If you once you get to like, the middle stage of, okay, I for sure know that these dimensions and design is going to work, but you need somebody to make the tooling and the molding, which you may well. I have a lot invested in tooling and molds. And then you go to the tooling and mold people and you say, what is it going to take? What are my options? Pricing, time, how long is it going to last? Initially we did silicone molds, which don't have a long, like 100,000 part lifetime or something like that, just to prove out what if that was going to work or not. And then once we proved it, then made the investment to do the metal mold and tooling for something much more permanent. So yeah, the design firms, they're there to make money, right? And they have a huge, payroll as well. So sometimes if they take you to market, they want a percentage of what they've done, or sometimes it's a flat fee. So yeah, I think it depends on the complexity of what you're doing. Like if you have an invention for something that you like, that's like, I don't know, quantum something or other, and you have like no experience in that, and yeah, you need to do that. But if you're I took a call with somebody who asked me about what he had planned and invented, and he had gone through so many versions and he really dialed it in, and then he was ready to go to a manufacturer and say, this is what I want. And I think that is going to be much more successful for him than, because you have the vision of what it is, and as an athletic trainer, what you need in your bag, right? So you can't always go to somebody who's like, I don't know, doesn't understand what you're designing.
I can go down a rabbit hole in that too.
Yeah. So I think in like, Jay, what have you learned as far as trusting your instincts, and where have you seen the writing on the wall where like, this is not going to work, I got to pull out, I got to stop feeding money into this? What has been the things that you've seen?
I'll tell the story about so this project or the product, I'm gonna still continuously working on it. So I paid $200 to get a sample produced. So before going to the discussions and revealing my design, I had him sign a mutual non-disclosure agreement. Sometimes if you find just an NDA, that's one-sided, people won't like that. So mine is mutual. And so they said, okay, well, give us about 2 months to produce you 2 samples. Okay, cool. 2 months go by. Hey, there's some delays. Okay. Another 2 months. Hey, what's going on? Same answer, same BS answer. Another 2 months later, nothing. And then that's where I had to really trust my instincts and say, I need to pull out of this, because I realized the price was too good to be true to create a mold for the specific product.
Yeah.
And just the communication was absolutely just garbage. And there's not a lot of information about this company as well. This manufacturer's website looks like it's also from the 80s. And sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you just start investing a little bit into something, and then sometimes it hurts to pull it out, but you have to, in order to save yourself more headaches. Because I was under this impression, okay, this is the dream, about to develop the main product I really wanted to do before the dead bug. at a wicked price. No,
Mm.
that was not the key.
Yeah.
So lesson learned from that, because again, it helped me open my eyes and realize other people I've talked into the past that were a bit more expensive. I'm thinking the investment is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that failure of trying to develop that first prototype, Jeremy and Lisa, that's when I went to the dead bug, because the fun thing was that this product was really where I wanted to start out as a small business. And then when it failed, I already knew I had the sling as a backup, because I know tactical gear pretty well. So when I went to design the dead bug, it wasn't as bad, but I can get more into the less successful experiences of prototyping. But definitely that was that story I just told. That was a really big experience too. Wow, you have to watch out for yourself too, because like you said, some companies are looking to just make money. I recently went into a similar design, a variation of this same product I'm designing, with another. It's a bigger manufacturing group / design firm. And same thing, they wanted a lot of money up front before a prototype was produced. And I'm just thinking, as a small business, this cost doesn't justify what's going on at this current stage. Like you said, this is just not the right timing for it. And it's also, I find it's not necessary, because I could go back directly to, and I plan to the other manufacturer that I was talking to, get back in those discussions, because of what I've seen with the successes of the dead bug, with all the funds and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure I could do it with this product, because it's going to prove to be better. So again, lessons, you can learn your lessons from other things too, success and failure.
Yeah, you gotta try. If you could do it on the cheap first, because you've just bought some pretty inexpensive things from Home Depot, yeah, go for it.
And expand on that too. Amazon products too. A lot of my R&D came from, your low end tactical gear from Amazon, just for me to see dimensions. Like you said, dimensions are killer. I looked at dimensions, a bunch of different things to figure out what's going to work. Is it going to be too big? Is it going to be too small?
So in your research and design with firms, were these firms that you were in physical meetings with, or is this over the phone from afar?
This main firm was actually in person, and it's interesting. At first, I think that this group designs. I'm not going to say what companies, because it's a whole spectrum of everything. Wow, they make a lot of stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be good, very trustworthy system we have over here. And then I sit down after, I see the trade room. I go through, the dead bug, because I wanted to show them, what they thought of it. Can they make it as well? And my other product. And that's where they're also questioning how I'm getting it designed. And they're saying, oh, you're being extremely risky with how you're doing your production of the dead bug. I think you should really reconsider. And at that point, I was really, doubting what I was doing, and then kind of seeing how everything's flowing right now, the bag's shipping out. It's doing okay. So also you have to watch out, because, not everyone is always there for your true interests. I'm pretty sure they're just trying to say, hey, we want you to come to us. I'm not going to justify also that heavy retainer cost for them to produce one dead bug prototype versus my supplier can make me, the other colors at the price I'm expecting. So it gets a little crazy, but I definitely, going into this conversation, just have your non-disclosures ready, because things can get ugly in the future.
Right. Yeah. Concerning that, the manufacturer might also have a competing interest. Like, they're already producing somebody else's balance board. They're going to steer you in some sort of direction, or they're,
or they could be shady and they just want to produce your stuff too and just make it slightly different.
Yeah.
We know about that.
Yeah. That's why I have like final control over everything, even shipping, right? I don't want to send my stuff to a distributor where it could be damaged and then it's shipped out improperly. It's just not something that I want to deal with. I need that control.
Yeah, that's what I'm debating too. If you're talking about control, I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, are you planning to distribute wholesale? I don't know yet. For me, literally, I opened up this business in February. So am I ready to take it to that scale? Not yet, because there's a lot of things I need to evaluate, literally I'm preparing for the second order. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of, like you said, control is, I think, something as a business owner, it's hard to kind of let go of. Because for me, with the design of the dead bugs, I had the control of all the design, but the manufacturing and logistics, that's beyond me.
Right,
So
right.
there's
Yeah,
only so much
that's
that we can try to have our hand in.
yeah.
But you want to try to hold on to everything you can, though. Whereas,
Right. Right. Yeah. Early on, I mean, I was the expert in everything. I still am with certain things, but you because you have no money, like, right, there's either two ways of doing this. You get a huge influx of money and then you just spend it, doing whatever you want, or you bootstrap it and you build like certain parts, little here and there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, especially when it's your money, it's really important to be efficient and maximize. I mean, I have like random stuff, prototype stuff I'm still holding on to it because it could be useful. My oldest brother is he's a minimalist. He's like, why do you have all this stuff? Like, don't worry about it.
Also, they're kind of like your babies too. Like we'll talk about the early prototypes. My first prototype, the MMK, is, people are saying, I'll buy it for you. Like, no, it's kind of,
right.
Even though I consider it a massive failure, it's still my baby, because it was the first thing I ever got a working, full functioning, product. It's a part of me. It's a part of the history.
Mm-hmm.
So let me
quick
on
go ahead, Jeremy.
On the Facebook Live, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Rob, what's up?
District 2. He said they're offering a new innovation and entrepreneurship grant where members can get up to $5,000. So check that out. NATA. I've got a link. He's put a link on the Facebook Live, so definitely check that out.
Sure.
I'll include it in the show notes and on the post going with the blog.
Okay.
So we've covered a lot as far as design.
We have.
And I think there's still a ton more to get to. And so I actually have to head over to athletics. And so we're going to continue this. And if we need to pick up on research next time we come back, then we can do that. And if we need to wait in, if we've covered that and move on to the next topic, again, this is about you guys having a conversation, helping everybody that wants to invent or create a product, and giving them as much of an opportunity to learn and get answers as possible. So with that being said, Jay, why don't you give us a way somebody can reach out to you, Alicia the same, and then kind of a closing up thought until we meet again.
Yeah, sure. Easiest way to reach out to me, I do most of my, social media communications through Instagram. So Nexus, NEXUS.sportsmed. I'm on Twitter at nsportsmed, and then at Gmail, nexus.sportsmedicine@gmail.com. Instagram, if you DM me, I'm more than happy to personally answer. I'm not the type of person I'll say no DMs. You could DM me. I'm happy to talk. So.
All right, Alicia.
Great. Yeah, I think we're pretty good with the research. I think next week, man, let's build your business, everybody. Let's get to it.
Yeah. I'm down.
I went off of social media a couple years ago because I just couldn't handle it. So I'm not on there. You can message me, and there's just not enough time in the day. So email is the best, or even text message. But you can email me. We'll do the info because my name is spelled a little bit more difficultly. But info@Syboards. It's SI with a hyphen. Boards with an SBOARDS.com. Call me, text me, whatever. send up a universal message. But this has been really fun. I think it's really interesting that because I've been with Syboards for so long, and I'm on I've been through a lot of the process and have my product. So I have my my perspective as an older business owner, and Jay's coming in from more fresh, like it's more fresh of everything that's happening.
I'm out
so
the womb.
right. I'm like geriatric, right? So compared to so I thanks for the comment on the grant. All right, Inventors, let's get you
I'll
out
look into
there.
it.
Let's take it, let's see what you got. I'm really excited to see what other things people have in the back of their minds that they want to put their passion to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole market ready, ready for people to get into. Just a last closing comment. I know a lot of, the sexy thing you'll see in AT business owners is, private practice, recovery centers, doing your own AT services. You don't need to reach out to a super big company to help develop something. Where, Alicia and I are here to show you that you can do it on your own, that we are, resources. I'm happy to help, someone talk about it. It's not all about, just doing exactly what everyone else says. If you don't feel like private practice for you, let us know. We can see, there's other ways to approach this. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think also one thing that helped me along the way was people wanted to share their expertise with me, whether it's my steel guys, my urethane, my board guys. And that was super helpful. That, I found the right people that had a passion for what they're doing and wanted to share that with me to help me share my passion with the world. So we're here. Come on, bring it in. Bring it in.
Come on.
Yeah. High five to you guys. Yeah. This is good. Yeah.
All right, so this is sportsmedicinebroadcast.com/ATInventors1. And again, we will continue with this series. So again, sportsmedicinebroadcast.com/ATInventors1, where I'll have the ways to get a hold of Jay and Alicia. And then again, we want to come back and sometime around March to hear your stories, to maybe, do a little coaching call live on the podcast so that we can say, hey, here's where I am, here's where I'm stuck, I need your help. Obviously, I wouldn't be there. Alicia would be the lead on that one, and Jay can prod us with some questions there. But that's the whole goal, is for you as a listener or Facebook watcher or YouTube watcher, let us be part of your journey. And just like Alicia said, she is an expert in running a business, whereas I'm not. Mm-hmm. So let her share her expertise with you. In AT Inventors 1, one of my favorite inventors is Frio Hydration. We love their products. Recently, we were offered another hydration unit, and I said, hey, I would be willing to wait another year or two if you would save that money up and buy us the Frio Hydration unit instead of just the regular less expensive hydration unit, because like Alicia said, if you want the best product and with the least customer service, you got to put the money in. Frio is not the cheapest, but I honestly don't want other products because I don't want to have to constantly fix them. So AT Inventors, check it out. Let us know, share your story of success, failure, questions, all that coming up. So for Jeremy, Alicia, Jay, and the Sports Medicine Broadcast, that is a wrap. Thanks.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Thank you, Jeremy, for hosting and providing the space.